we were built like this.
Yeah.
We were built macho, and men don't cry. That's a sign of weakness. I think we need to let that go. If you need to cry, cry. Let it go, because it's a washing emotions off. It makes you feel lighter. What makes you macho, what makes you bigger is how positively you think, how positive you are about your family, how positive you are about your trade, how positive you are about your life. Sometimes we are willing to give away our life trying to save our pride.
We hear of suicides in the culinary world. People can't deal with the pressure.
I think the first thing they need to learn is that how to ease off. That's the first thing I teach them. There is no pressure bigger than your life, to be honest. I would like to be remembered as a good human and a great chef.
Every man carries something: expectations, silence, struggles, the weight of having to look unbreakable. The Dad Project is a home for real, unfiltered conversations on men's mental health, the kind that have been missing for far too long. We share powerful stories and raw perspectives from those living it and those guiding men through it. Filmed at the Old Court in Windsor, it's about breaking silence, reshaping strength, and creating conversations that actually matter. I'm your host, Naroop Juti. Let's talk. Before we start, let me take 30 seconds and speak to you directly. This podcast exists to share real stories, honest conversations that inspire growth, self-belief, and meaningful change. If you get value from these episodes, following or subscribing is the easiest way to support what we're building here. It helps this reach more people who appreciate authentic conversation, and it allows us to keep creating stories like this. All right, thank you for being here. Now, into the episode. So Atul, before the Michelin stars, before the restaurants, before the recognition, who was Atul?
Atul was just a young boy getting by. I wanted to cook. I wanted to learn more. The quest was always to do best to my ability. It wasn't to become someone. It was never to prove to anyone. It was always to do best of my version today than I was yesterday. And that's what my father taught me, and I've always maintained that. I teach that to my son and to people who work with me. I said, we don't need to roll that stone down the cliff or up the cliff in a day. If you just make a little effort every day, we will receive the results which we always intended.
So your love of cooking, did it come from your father? Or where did he first realize that you wanted to cook?
So I would say love for cooking actually came from the family. So my family is a foodie family. My grandfather was a baker. It's during the time when British were still ruling India, and World War II started and Burma War was happening. So British summoned a lot of bakers to come to East India. They needed a lot of bakers to come there so that prisoners of war camp was there and allied armies were stationed there. They needed to be fed. So that's how my granddad landed there. Mom and dad met in a place called Jamshedpur. The whole family we were born in Jamshedpur. Being a Punjabi family, we were born and bred in Jamshedpur. So I saw my granddad being a baker. Then my dad, who was an engineer, decided to become a caterer. And then I grew up around these two men who were hugely passionate about their craft. And it was, to an extent, it was infectious. It wasn't possible not to be able to get affected by it. And I did. So I was always on my granddad's tail and then my father's tail. When it came to a time when I had to decide a career, like a good Indian boy, I sat for medical school and got a seat. But I also sat for hotel school, which I had told my dad that I want to do this. And I got a seat there as well. And mom was an academic. She was a little bit disappointed, but was happy that I'm going to do something that I will love. And that's how I landed in hospitality. And one of the best advice my dad and my mom gave me, that you come from a Punjabi family, you were born in East India. Why don't you go to South India and explore your own country, your own people, and learn something new? And I landed up Chennai. Didn't know the language, didn't know anybody. 17-year-old boy
Wow.
with two suitcases, a trunk, landed up there in hostel and never looked back, to be honest.
What did you learn from that move, from going somewhere where you didn't speak the language? I know it's the same country, but communication is important, right? Did you feel a bit like an outsider? What was
Oh,
it
yeah.
like for you?
It was like being in a foreign country.
Mm.
It was a pleasant shock, if I may say. Jamshedpur is quite a cosmopolitan town. So neighbors were from Orissa, Bengal, Gujarat, Mumbai, you name it. So growing up there all my life, I thought, yeah, this is how world is. Then you suddenly land up in a place, Chennai, place called Madras, not Chennai. At that time it was Madras and now Chennai. Everyone speaks Tamil. Everything is written in Tamil or English sometimes. There's nothing in written Hindi. And you have to adapt very quickly.
Mm.
Even if you wanted a dozen of bananas, you need to speak in Tamil to be able to get that.
Yeah.
And I got through that. But it took some time for me to understand how diverse
Yeah.
my country was,
Mm.
how beautiful this world was. People were amazing. They were very helpful. Once you got across the communication barrier, which I did over a period of time, I spoke fairly fluent Tamil when I was there. Uh, the world was no different than wherever I had come from, to be honest. They were same people, felt like family. I never wanted to leave Chennai when it came to end of my education. I fell in love with the place, with the people. Until date, now their mum, dad are gone. Loads of my friends are in Chennai. So whenever I think of India, I get goosebumps thinking about it, that
Mm.
I've got family in Chennai.
Mm.
I've got nobody from my blood relation in Chennai, but all those friends who live in Chennai, they are more than family to me.
What was interesting you talked about earlier is your grandfather. And I think that's something people don't really talk about enough in Indian culture, especially the grandfather's like another father, right? So I look back at my family life. I had all four grandparents that are still alive until I was 30, right? Which is a
Fantastic.
blessing,
Of course.
a massive
Definitely.
blessing. Um, and what they individually taught me has stayed with me. What did your granddad teach you that your father couldn't teach you or didn't teach you? Did you find there's a different type of relationship between the two of them? Because they both help define you as a man today, but I think they probably both taught you different things, right?
They both taught me different things, no doubt about it. So my dad became an orphan at very young age.
Mm.
So he was brought up by his uncle. Lovely family. So he had a lot of love and affection. He never felt that he didn't have parents. So the granddad I'm talking, he's my mom's dad.
Yeah.
So for him, he was father-in-law. And they had a lovely relation between them, but they were two different people.
Mm.
My granddad was super organized, um, bit temperamental. Things didn't go his way, he will lose his cool. Very pious. His God came before anything else.
Mm.
His life always started with Shiva.
Mm.
Every morning starts with Shiva only, and he had his rituals, and everybody had to respect those rituals around him. And we all learned to do that. But that taught me discipline. How he had carved out a time frame for himself. Every morning there was a ritual, and he would just go minute by minute. He had that very strictly till the time he was alive. He always followed that. My dad was more rounded up, more fun person. Spoke little but smiled a lot. He was always there to give cuddles and cajolas. No moment was a bad moment. Positive, remaining positive was the biggest thing for him. Perhaps he had seen so much in life that nothing faced him. He always remained that he was always a glass half full person. And I think I got that a lot from him. So getting strength from two different people was amazing in my opinion.
How do you think that impacted your mentality now? Because happiness and positivity, it's a mindset. It's not based on what you have. Some of the richest people in the world are, as we know, the most miserable.
True.
So is that something that's stayed with you to this day? And how do you maintain your mindset? Because as soon as you've walked in, there's smiles, there's positivity, energy, you can feel it. What do you do to make sure you stay in that kind of mindset?
I think I wake up and my mind is buzzing. I'm
Well,
happy that I'm alive.
mm,
Got a new day, got a new lease for today. I'm happy that there's a lot I can do today. I'm going to meet some amazing people, and hopefully, I will try a little bit harder to be a better person than I was yesterday.
yeah.
I think those things keep me going. Rest is all ritual. Going to work, meeting chefs, working with the team. They're all ritual. They're all happy rituals,
Mm.
and they all have a rhythm to it. But remaining positive and looking at any situation and saying, okay, we can deal with this in a different way. It doesn't have to be head on. There's always a way around it as well. You need to look at that. So I've always been that kind of person. And I think I can dedicate that to part of my upbringing.
Do you carve out time for yourself in the day? You're speaking about how your granddad does that. And it's funny, I start my day with meditation as well, because I think it's a reset we need, even though we've just slept.
Yeah.
Like you said, you wake up and your mind goes, right? And if
Yeah.
you just follow that thought, sometimes you realize actually, I need to just slow down a little bit. If I start working straight away,
Yeah.
it's usually not the best thing. So what's your mindfulness practice? So how do you start your day?
So I'm an early riser, always been. My dad used to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
And the next person he would wake up is me
okay.
around 5:30 because he has made a cup of tea and he wants to share the cup of tea with someone. So it used to be me. So I got that in me. So I'm always up around 6 o'clock. So I've slipped another half an hour into my sleep schedule. And I wake up around 6. I'm up at 6. And I have a ritual, do my little stretching and listening to one or two podcasts, which I love. And then I put on my shoes and get out for walking.
Mm.
So I live near Australia Park, and that's my ritual, and
Right.
that's my mindset. It resets everything in me when I'm out there, fresh air. Sometimes you come across a neighbor and you get talking to them, and you talk totally different. No food, not his business, totally something, maybe geopolitics or something.
Mm.
And that keeps me going, to be honest. But just wake up in the morning and go for a walk. I think it just the best thing I have in my life, to be honest. And it doesn't matter whether it was -3 or 30 degrees in the morning, I would still go out for a walk. And I've done that for many years and I continue to do that.
Do you enjoy having time to yourself? Is it something that you savor?
I love it, to be honest. So my wife wakes up a couple of hours later than me, and I would love for her to come on the walks with me so that I can have chat to her as well. But that's kind of me time. Very selfish, I'm sorry.
No, it's not
But
selfish.
it just clears my mind. If there's something that happened yesterday and had been bothering me, I process it. That's the time I reset myself. What can I do? I can't do. All the plans, so to speak, can be made. And sometimes I have no thought at all and I'm just enjoying it.
Mm.
There's a new bud coming out and I saw those 4 ducks and they have a new duckling now. This is fantastic.
Mm.
I notice all those things and you just feel that you are in tune with your environment. It's an environment which I come to every day to inspire and love and look after
Mm.
myself rather than them. But I notice the changes.
That's quite interesting. So you've said it like it's an easy thing. This is awareness of the small details. A lot of people look way past that. They're out and they don't notice the beautiful little things around them. They're more concentrating on their phone or they're caught up in their mind. The awareness that you have, is that something that you've trained yourself to actively do, or is it something that's always been like that with you?
I've never trained myself into it, but I think it's there,
Mm.
and it could be part of my training. Because being a chef, you're aware of your surroundings all the time. You notice everything, that what's on the table, what's on the pass,
Mm.
what's on the stove. You're constantly managing that. Maybe it's that. I'm until you told me this, I didn't notice. But it was my reset with the nature, and I noticed the new birds come out, and I'll come back tomorrow and see how big
Yeah.
they become. And it's a very beautiful thing to actually observe because you see these things on camera that there's a little bud, and then within seconds it opens up to be a flower. But it's a very beautiful feeling when you walk past every day and see it's grown a little, grown a
Yeah.
little, grown a little. And God forbid if somebody plucks that bud before I've seen it blossom, I get irritated.
Yeah. No, they say that if you can spot beauty in the little things, it shows where your mind and your heart is at, because it means you're in that state of consciousness, of thinking, where some people can easily look past it because they're so focused on things which are difficult, or
Yeah.
they're feeling anger or they're feeling pain, so they don't notice the beautiful things around them. But it's just an observation. I've always, when people ever tell me about stuff they notice in nature, I see it as a reflection of how they're feeling on the inside.
Sometimes mind is too preoccupied
Yeah.
for people, and could be for me as well. Maybe a few things I also walk past and don't notice. But certain things that I get hooked onto, I notice that.
Yeah. So you were in India, you did your training there, and then you made a move to the UK,
Yes.
right? I love the idea of moving somewhere and starting fresh. I've never experienced it, unfortunately, in my life. Um, what was that like? Because it's a massive change, right? The culture in India, the flavors, the sounds, the languages, the color. And you're
Yep.
coming. Is it to London you came first?
I came to London.
What was that like for you?
Oh, it was fantastic. So I'll just take a step back. That
Like
the reason I moved to London.
Yeah.
80s and 90s were difficult economic times in India. Though I was doing quite all right. I was sous chef at the Oberoi Hotel, trained at the Oberoi School. My younger brother, who was staying with me in Delhi that time, fell ill.
Right.
And I had no idea what has happened to him. And I would go to work and look after him and come back and still look after him. It happened for 3-4 days. And he started not responding as well. And I was very worried. I had limited resources and I didn't know what to do. So I called a friend whose uncle was a doctor, and she came to see him. She said, "It doesn't look good at all. Let me call my uncle." And her uncle, who's quite a good doctor, he came and he says, "Oh gosh, your brother's got meningitis.
Wow.
We got to transfer him to hospital." We transferred him to hospital, but my mind was racing. I got very little money. How am I going to afford all this? We put him in the hospital. Saving his life was first and foremost thing. And to save his life, he got saved, thank God. We reached in hospital in time, though we were a little late, as doctor said. So you should have brought him much earlier than now, but we'll do our best. So he completely recovered and came out fighting fit. But that process landed me in a lot of debt because I had to just go and borrow to look after him. And mom, dad had already retired, and there was not much enough funds, and I had to look for
Wow.
an avenue to go and get this done. And I started looking for jobs abroad that time. And I had no intention ever in my life
Right.
to move abroad. I was just so driven to be around my parents and my sister and brother. Leaving the family was the last thought in my mind.
Wow.
But I had to do it, financial reasons. So I landed up in London because it was economic reason. I had to come and earn money to be able to repay that debt.
How old are you?
That time,
Yeah.
I was 20, 21, 22.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is. But, if you don't have a family, then what do you have?
Yeah.
So I never thought about pressure. I thought about this needs doing.
Duty. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs doing. That's all. That's all that was in my mind. So I applied for many places. Funny enough, I applied for P&O Cruises. I applied in South Africa. I was lucky enough to get offer from all the places, and the London one seemed right. It was a brand new restaurant being opened that time, and I was introduced to the owners of that restaurant through one of the senior chefs, and also by Mr. Oberoi, who I was working for. So it felt much more correct to me, and I took the job and landed up in London in November of '94.
Wow. Were you quite an experienced chef at this stage? How long had you been training for?
So after leaving college, 3 years of college, I had worked for almost 5 years by then. So I was fairly trained chef.
Right.
I could handle kitchens. I was handling a team of 100 plus people by that time.
Wow.
So I was quite there.
And did people spot your talent early on? Did someone say you're gonna be special?
So I never took compliments. I always took compliments as flattery. Right? Let's put it that way. I didn't take it seriously. I got to get the work done. That's more important to me. So there was a big PR who was looking after the restaurant, and I think in a lot of ways, this particular gentleman, Alan Crompton Batt, his name is, he was the first self-styled London restaurant PR company.
Yeah.
He actually started what restaurant PR is today as a massive thriving industry now.
Yeah.
But he was the first man who said, I should be doing PR for chefs like Marco and Nico.
Mm.
So Marco and Nico were his best friends, and he started promoting them.
Mm.
And then I think I was third or fourth client he had. And I had no idea. Like, I'd come from India. Who's Alan Crompton Babb?
Yeah.
I didn't even know who Marco Pierre was. When I was introduced to Marco, I just met him as a senior chef and with respect, and knew very little about him. The only people I knew well about was Roux Brothers, because we had, in my curriculum, I had a couple of books. And in my library, I had a couple of books from them, which I knew that they are really accomplished chefs. And Alan always said, I have eaten Indian food all my life, but what you cook is totally different.
Mm.
And your take on food is totally different as well. So it'll be interesting to promote here. And I always think, yeah, okay. I never took it that he's serious about it. I just wanted us to do well. I wanted restaurant to do well. And then 94, 95 were actually quite hard economic times in the UK that
Mm.
time. We were going through a huge transition, pretty much similar to what we have at the moment. So restaurant was wobbly in the beginning, but 2 years down the line, 2 or 3 years down the line, it started picking up and never looked back.
Did you ever doubt your decision at any point when you were here? Did you think, I haven't made the right move, I should have stayed?
I never doubted my decision, to be honest. I always enjoyed being in London, and I'm a kind of person who likes a challenge. So London came as a challenge. So I spoke to my dad a lot, pros and cons of London, that what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. The kitchen is a small kitchen. I'm only working with 5 other guys in my kitchen, whereas I had 80 something
Yeah.
people working around me, and it was a much bigger operation. Whether I like it or not like it. Hotel versus restaurant was another big challenge, because hotel is such a big entity.
Yeah.
So my dad was a very wise man. He said, why don't you go and befriend some of the hotel chefs,
Mm.
or chefs, other restaurant chefs, and check out what exists there. And then perhaps that will bring more peace to you. So I knew about Chef Alberu. So I knocked on his door and told him who I was, introduced myself, and he was very welcoming and sat me down, gave me a coffee, and we had a long chat. And then he introduced me to a couple of hotel chefs. There's a executive chef of Dorchester Hotel, Chef Vidi Elsner. So I went to see him through Chef Alberu, and he showed me around. And it was just a kind of learning process for me to see what they're doing. And then I would come back to my kitchen. I think, actually, I'm good.
Mm.
I'm satisfied where I am, and this decision is good. So whenever I doubted, I had somebody to go to. In India, my dad, and here, Chef Alberu, who I could go to and have a chat with them regarding my profession.
How did it feel being an Indian chef at that time? Especially because now you were going to have this PR company working for you, but everyone else around you at that level was probably white. So how does that make you feel? Did you feel in any way that you were not at their level, or did it get any insecurities, or how did you process that moment?
You know, I never felt intimidated or out of place at any time.
Mm.
It could be self-confidence as well. I knew my craft. I knew the strength of Indian food, and I knew Indian food is quite popular in this country, maybe at different level altogether.
Yeah.
There were Indian restaurants were called curry houses those days.
Yeah.
They were not called Indian restaurants. So for me, it was something to work with. I wanted to tell the world that Indian restaurants can be very posh.
Mm.
I wanted to create an experiential place, and it took time. It wasn't one day's battle. It was over a period of time. People would always come to restaurant and say, I'll have beer, nothing else.
Mm.
And for a restaurant just to sell curry and beer will not survive in Mayfair, to be honest. So you needed full experiential meal.
Mm.
So we were one of the first restaurants to start tasting menus in Indian restaurant.
Right.
With paired wines. I think Tamarind was the first Indian restaurant to have a sommelier.
Well.
So I did some drastic things which others wouldn't have thought to. And results came. Results did come. People started looking at us very differently. We were valued very differently. And then finally rewarded very differently.
How did that success make you feel? Like, because it's it's about maintaining a level head. We speak about it off camera about ego, right? Ego in the kitchen. All of a sudden, you're getting praised. But you, with your upbringing, how did you manage that?
I, it's quite natural to kind of feel elated, feel sometimes big headed as well.
Mm,
But I came down to my reality very quickly because I never weighed success in form of how much name or fame you have,
mm,
or how much money the restaurant is taking. My success has always been on my relations, how I related myself to my people, the guys I worked with,
mm.
people in front of the house, and to my wider family. It was very important to me
Yeah,
because if I become arrogant and I became big headed and I said bad words to someone, I would have to still return to the same society.
yeah,
How am I going to face them?
yeah.
What are they going to think about me? So I always had that conscious in me. So if you become an arrogant person, and you still would have to go back to your
Mm.
people, for me, to my chefs, to my family. Uh, that never gelled well with me, to be honest. I always preached people to be nice and kind to each other. It was very important for me that I was standing and chopping onions next to a guy to not only just get the work done, but also make a conversation in appropriate time in the day to make sure that he's well, he's happy, his family is doing okay. I've always maintained that relation. So till date, I don't know how many hundreds, if not thousands, of people have gone through my kitchens, and they all are on my phone book, and they are still part of my universe, and I love them, love them.
I love that because when I'm on set, it's the same thing. If I'm directing or doing photography, wherever I'm working, I always talk to everybody because it's important that everyone feels valued.
Absolutely.
And I look at people, in the creative world, ego is a big thing. In the culinary world, ego is a big thing. And when I look at programs or I see stuff and I see people being rude, for me, I can't relate to it. I'm like, why would you want someone to feel like that? Because it's not just about the output, really. You can make a nice dish and great, it's delicious. But how does that person feel after their interaction with you? When they go home, they've got family to go back to, they've got responsibilities and you've just shouted at them or whatever it might be. I never quite understood that because these, like I said, these interactions, these relationships, that's what you're going to be remembered by. Um, and I guess it stems back to the way you were raised, right? And also your experience you had at a kitchen yourself that you were telling me about.
As a young chef, training at one of the kitchens, I was a commis chef that time, and I was preparing vegetables in the French kitchen, and the head chef was French, uh, pretty angry man, and he would never be happy. I've never seen him smile in the kitchen. He would always come back very angry. And I had prepared the vegetables, and he comes and says, "Oh, have you prepared your vegetables?" I said, "Yes, chef." Very proud of showing him that I've done this, I've done that. And there was a pot of hot water, and I was blanching Brussels sprouts in it. And it's a French restaurant. So he says, "What's that?" I said, "Brussels sprout." "Is it for my kitchen?" I said, "Yes, chef." "It's for the service." "Yes, chef." He just picked up the whole pot and poured it over my head. I got scalded. Not too badly. Luckily, water wasn't too hot, so I ran for cold water. And he said, "You'll always remember this lesson. Brussels sprout comes from Brussels, not from France."
Mm,
And I thought that was very harsh.
mm.
That was very harsh. I'm sure he got told off by the seniors and all that, and I was made sure that I was okay. It was in the hotel, so hotel wouldn't take anything like that. So I think he was pacified in a different way, and I was asked if I don't want to work under him, which I said, no, I'll continue to. It's a learning opportunity, and I made sure that I maintain my distance from him, but still learn. But that taught me a lesson. I said, this is the character I don't want to be. This is how I will never treat anybody who will work with me or around me, because that taught me that it's not only ignorance,
Mm,
it's arrogance. And fine, I made a mistake on a vegetable, but that vegetable doesn't define cul- cuisine of a nation.
mm,
There were a lot of reasons for it, but his way of dealing with that situation wasn't right in my mind. And till date, I have always maintained politeness, respect for each other, and no swear. So they are all told that once they join the kitchen, that there's no rude words in the kitchen. And if you say a rude word once, you will be told. Second time, you will be given a talk. Third time, you'll be asked to pack your knife set and leave. So we don't do that. So all my head chefs are exactly, I won't say mini me, but they have been trained to do that.
Is that what leadership looks like for you? Is that respect, leading by example?
I don't want to enforce on people
Mm.
because everybody have their own nature, to be honest. But I want a certain basic rules by which we should define our workplace. And that is, first thing is the mutual respect. That's very important to me. And if we can't do that, then we'll not be able to work together. We'll not be able to pull each other's weight during the tough times. And teamwork is always about that. You've got to step in and help others when things are getting dragged. And if you're slated somebody and you are in trouble, he'll not come to help you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So not a selfish reason, but to build a better team, if you have mutual respect, that team always wins.
You must, like you said, you've met thousands of people who come through your kitchen. I've never worked in the kitchen, but I can imagine it becomes like a family. You must have had many conversations, heard many things, the struggles men go through in their lives. Do you find that you often end up mentoring these guys and these men in other ways than just being their boss? And what have you seen in your kitchen that's so prevalent that men are having to carry that people just don't know about?
I have always been little more than a boss to everyone who has gone through my kitchen. I've become a kind of sometimes an older brother or a father figure or a guy who's there as a friend when they had nobody to talk to. I've had a lot of young people who have had kind of mentally disturbed as well. They are kind of feel dejected and ejected from the family as well, and there's no hope. I've had those kind of people as well in my kitchens. Oh, it's a big responsibility, to be honest. Sometimes it drains me listening to their story, and you think, gosh, there is so much pain in their life. But you have to be correct and truthful to them and give them right advice. And sometimes when their problem is beyond me, I escalate it and I make sure that somebody knows about it who can handle that better, because I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist.
Yeah.
As a human, I can help as much as I can. But I always like to be there for people in their tough times. I've always done that.
How do these chefs who do struggle, because the hours are long, it's hot, there's pressure.
Yeah.
How do they manage and deal with that? What are the kind of things as a chef that you have to do in your life? Because we hear of suicides in the culinary world. People can't deal with the pressure. What have you done to deal with the pressure? And what would you recommend to anyone else who's facing pressure in that environment, what they could do?
I think the first thing they need to learn is that how to ease off. That's the first thing I teach them. There is no pressure bigger than your life, to be honest. How are you going to manage it? It's a jigsaw puzzle. Every day at work is a jigsaw puzzle. You've got 20 jobs and you've got to slot it in such a way that you do it more effectively. Some people get it naturally and they just go boom, boom, boom and done. And some people just take whole day to do that. And as a team leader, my effort is to help him solve that, get him to do that in a better way. When I worked in French kitchens and continental kitchens, if I may say, the times were tedious. You would start very early in the morning and finish late, and sometimes there was no signing off time. In India, especially some of the hotels, I won't take the name, but there was a time to clock in, there was no time to clock out. And orders were different. When I was told that your time is finished, you should be home now, I was quite shocked. I said, okay, all right,
Yeah.
should do that. And I have kind of maintained that. I make sure that people work with passion and love. People work in an organized manner. And people also come to work with a lot of happiness. When they come with sad and laden with pressure and they have all negativity, they will not cook well. They'll not perform well. For a kitchen to produce good food, you need happy people in that kitchen. It's incredibly important. As I said, when food cooked with love tastes very different, it's exactly when a happy cook is cooking it, you know it's fantastic. When the same cook is not happy when he cooks it, you know it's terrible. So I make sure that they they are programmed in a lot of ways. Program might be a little stronger word, but they are trained in such a way that they handle that pressure well. And if pressure gets too much for them, they need to talk. They need to come talk to the senior. They need to talk to me, and we are there to help. And sometimes, their problems are way bigger than I can handle. Then we ask to align the team and put somebody else with them, or move them to a different section which they can cope better. Because kitchen has got 7 or 8 different sections,
Yeah.
and everybody is trained to do most of the things. And we move people around, especially young people. I take it as a personal responsibility that they are trained in different sections before they finish their time with me.
Mm.
Most of young people would stay with me typically 3 years, and I make sure that the 6 or 7 sections I have, they finish that. And then when they worked with me with their workflow and their ability and their way of processing information, we observe it. We observe it through their work pattern, but also through their assessments, that which section they fit most, and get them to work that section more than any other section.
You mentioned happiness quite a few times in your answer there.
Mhm.
What do you think makes someone happy? And is happiness a mindset, or is happiness, in your opinion, something you gain from the achievement of something?
For me, happiness is a lifestyle.
Okay, tell me.
Um, you could be in the most difficult circumstances, but you could still be happy. You got to tell your system you are contented, you are happy, you are good.
Mm.
And I teach that to my kids and to my coworkers all the time, that we should do that. You should look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're good.
Is it as simple as that? Is it
It,
as simple as
look,
saying I'm good? Or
it,
if
it,
I was working for you and
yeah.
you said, okay, Naroop, I'm gonna tell you about my philosophy of happiness, what would you say to me?
First conversation would be learn to stay happy. Learn to be. I always say that there's a hum in all of us, and that hum keeps me going. Hum keeps everybody going. And the moment you kill that hum and you suppress that because of your pressure, because of your troubles,
Mm.
you start killing yourself. Let that hum be there, that buzz. Everybody wakes up there with that buzz. And if you wake up in the morning and you have that trouble, try to find that buzz back.
Yeah.
And that buzz can sometimes come from your family, from walking in the nature, staying peacefully, like you say, meditating. Finding that hum is very important.
Mm.
I look at a bee. What does it do? It's humming around all day. It's busy. And if you get your mind to do that for you, you walk away from most of the troubles. You actually learn to resolve them.
Yeah.
So I always, especially to young people, I always say that there's a buzz in you, and that buzz makes you who you are. And how loud that buzz can be, it's up to you. How strong that buzz can be, it's up to you.
Mm.
And if more you practice that, the better it's going to be. It's very easy to go towards negative side, towards the dark side. Life is not good. I have no money. I cannot do anything. I'm in trouble all the time. Just say, I have a buzz. I have a buzz to do well. I have a buzz to be able to improve my attitude, towards work, improve my mindset, and stay happy no matter what. It's a matter of telling yourself, and your system starts giving you that back.
Yeah.
If you keep telling your system, I'm negative, I'm bad, it's listening.
Yeah.
Your subconscious is totally tuning you to that. The moment you start turning it other way around and saying, I'm positive, I'm good, I can do anything I want, this life is fantastic, you start getting that energy, you start getting that inertia,
Mm.
and you start doing well. Without you noticing, suddenly things start falling in its place.
Yeah. There's so much truth in that. Because it sounds simple, I think a lot of people don't do it. How can my own thoughts and my own words impact me in that way? But we don't value the energy of dialogue, of just what you can, when you tell yourself what that does back to you.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting, when we knew we were having you on the podcast, your culinary achievements are amazing, but I want to know the man behind it all,
Right.
right? What's really tested at all? What's kept him the way he is now? What challenges did he face? And we're talking about happiness. We're talking about being happy regardless of what's happening in life. And when we had our Zoom call, you told me about the moment where you lost everything.
Yes.
And I think that leads nicely in from what we were talking about, the conversations you tell yourself. I'm good. No matter what, I'm good. I'm good. Tell me about that time. Tell me what happened that time
Yeah.
and how you still managed to hold such a positive mindset and really act with dignity and class when you could have been the opposite way.
True. So in 2018, when I had this accident, my business partner decided to take me to cleaners and clean me up completely. My 18 years of hard work just got stolen from me like that. Uh, you know, uh, for a few days, I was just in a shock, complete shock. I said, "How could this happen to me? I'm not that kind of person, and it has happened. I accepted a mistake happened, and I apologize profusely, and I will always win." Uh, Kind of sad about it that has happened because I'm not that person. It can happen, and you're only human. You have to accept it. But how someone can just cheat you like that?
Wow, how much did it take? Tell me about where were you at? How many restaurants did you have?
So I
What? How did it happen? Like, why was it allowed to happen? You said you had an accident.
I had a Twitter accident. So
Right.
I'll not go too much into detail, but I had a Twitter accident, and
Right.
he used that point saying, "You, according to your contract, that contract should have been obsolete long time ago because
Right.
it was a contract written when I was an employee of the company and I had no shares in the company.
Right.
But then I landed up buying close to 48% of the shares of the company. And that contract should not hold because I'm a very major shareholder in the company. But he quite cleverly kept it hidden from me and never brought it out because he always had intention to pull me down someday
Right.
for his own personal gain. And he used that contract to say that you're a bad leaver and the company will buy your shares back for nominal price and you're out.
Right. Well.
So I was being thrown out of the company based on that. And basically it meant that I had all my life saving. I had bought 3 shareholders
Mm.
very recently. And he very smartly, he waited for me to buy these 3 shareholders so that he can ditch me later for nothing. So because they wouldn't sell their shares to him and they would sell the shares to me because they saw Atul created this restaurant. He deserves it. And he always thought Atul would be an easy target, others wouldn't be. That was his plan all his life, I think. And I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I'm just working hard and getting things done and thinking, God has given me great opportunity, great team, great family, great life. I should work towards it. And then, I bought three guys out. He's the last one, and I'll sit down and negotiate with him in a couple of years. And I'd mentioned to him a few times, and he will just smile and walk away, never tell me anything. And then one fine day, when this happens, and he just comes and says, "Here's your letter from the law firm, and you're out." What are you talking? So walking away from there, I remember walking away from Banaras, and I had tears in my eyes, and I thought, what I've done, why I've got this, a million questions in my mind that what has happened. It took a couple of days because I was quite destroyed, if I may say.
Of course.
Uh, Cried a lot, uh, but had no answers until then. Then slowly, when things started settling in, obviously there was a lot of abuse also came along. But over a period of time, I made myself tough, and I said, I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, "Am I that person? What people are telling me? I'm not. I'm good. Am I good at my craft? I am. My life has been taken away from me. My life savings have been taken away from me. I have got very little left. Do I have anything to lose?" I said, "I never had anything to lose anyway. I made everything from my hard work. I'll build it again." And I changed my mindset within a week.
Wow.
And I had my wife by my side, my kids by my side, and I started applying again.
Applying for
I started
planning.
planning again.
Right.
Just like a field work plow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just started digging again, and it didn't take long, to be honest. Uh, when I was sitting on, I wouldn't say empire, but a collection of 7 or 8 restaurants, when that man was still sitting with just one restaurant,
Hmm.
uh, I was truthful. I was right. I wasn't wrong. Uh, And people have short memories. Uh, Everything went away, in my opinion. I I didn't do it intentionally, and I still got connected back to the society. I loved them the way I loved before. It's just that one person's mindset doesn't make you guilty or bad.
Mm.
That's what it was. And I always said, if I focus on him, I'll become rotten like him. If I go fight him in the court, it'll be many years. I probably will win, but I'll gain very little. Because he's designed to fight, he's designed to cheat, he's designed to destroy people. That's what he does. I'm not designed to do that. I'm designed to stay positive. I'm designed to build. I'm designed to help people, and I will come out of it. It's a financial slap to me. It's a little bit of emotional slap as well, but I will recover.
Do you think it was always meant to happen for you in your path? That this is an event that had to happen for you for your own growth as a man, as an entrepreneur?
Uh,
How do you come to peace with the event happening?
you know, I follow Amitabh Bachchan quite a lot,
Famous Bollywood actor, yeah.
famous Bollywood actor, and he often says, and I'll turn into Hindi. He says, "Ho to bhala, na ho to aur bhi bhala." Means if it happens, it's good. If it doesn't happen, it's great.
Mm.
And I took that line and I thought that was meant to be. No matter how hard I tried, this was always going to be. I'm not going to blame him.
Yeah.
His karmas are with him, my karmas are with me. And if I have done everything right, there must have been a good reason why universe didn't want me there.
Yeah.
It would want me out of there. And then literally few years later, I believed it that universe didn't want me there.
Yeah.
Because his deeds took him to somewhere which I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
And I think universe, God, Allah, Waheguru, they didn't want me to be in the middle of that storm.
Yeah.
That's why I was plucked out. And I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. And I'm very happy that I wasn't there.
Yeah. I think that's a very healthy place to be in. And a lot of times in life, we think we can control everything. We don't really have control.
Yeah.
And Alan Watts, a famous philosopher, always says, life never makes sense going forward. It always makes sense when you look back at it. And you realize that it will flow the way it's meant to flow. And you can resist and you can try to do all these things, but it's going to flow the way it's meant to flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our job is just to be able to be balanced. And it's really nice to hear that it only took you a week to be able to come
to
through
my
this.
senses. Yeah.
Because I've experienced losses of empire with my dad. When my dad's clothing company, multi-million-pound company,
Wow.
it went bankrupt the year I came out of university. So I had studied my whole life thinking, I'm going to work with dad, studied business, got a good degree, I'm going to work with dad, and I'm going to scale this up. My granddad had started it, so it was within the family. And at 21 years old, I literally saw the collapse of his empire. It's very hard for a son to see a father struggle.
That's true.
You know, hearing the phone calls and hearing the clients, I could hear them shouting at him and just watching his face across the office, trying to deal with the pressure. It's very difficult.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but I learned a lot through it. And talk to him now, and it was always meant to happen for him. But that period is difficult for him. So I'd be interested to dive a little bit deeper in terms of, you had your family there, your wife was supporting you, but as a man, the hit it takes on your ego is massive.
Definitely.
It takes a huge amount of humility to say, I can do this again. It's easy to turn to distractions and substances to numb the pain. Do you think it was down to your upbringing that allowed you to say, within a week, I'm going to do this again? Or where do you think that resolve, that resilience came from?
I was brought up. The people I worked with, the ethos I instilled over a period of time in me. I think it's all factors, to be honest. What makes you is it actually describes you best in your testing times. And this was one of the strongest testing times in my life, to be honest. I've seen as a young kid, I saw a lot of tough times when parents had economic troubles, and I went to school without a lunchbox. Those were times I dealt with it. So I actually looked at that and I said, yeah, it's a tough one, but this shall pass. And this is what I told my kids. This will go, don't worry. And in fact, my boy, who was only, I think, 9 that time, he said, nah, don't worry. We'll be okay.
Hmm.
You are much bigger than this, and you will do much better. We believe in you.
How do you think you would have responded if your family weren't there? If you were a chef without a family, do you think it would have been different?
I haven't thought about that. It would be tough. It would be tough without them.
They were your reason, right?
They are my reason.
They were a reason to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did your identity take a hit? Going in those circles and seeing people.
You know what? This is where I was very strong. Initially it felt that it would take a hit,
Mm.
but I wanted to go right back in and communicate and connect to people and converse that I'm the same man. Fine. I wasn't intending to do anything like that. It has happened and it's a mistake. But does it nothing changes me. I'm still the same.
Yeah.
And I was welcome back. There was no problem. I went for iftar parties. I went for different sessions to talk, met different people from the different communities. Did a lot of work, to be honest, and it kind of connected me to more humble and lovely people than I had ever done that before, to be honest. And I realized we all are humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A mistake can happen from anyone, but if you're brave enough to accept it and say this has happened, I need to get on with it and improve myself and make sure that this never happens again with me or with somebody else. And if something like that happens, I should be there to be able to help and correct. So I've always maintained that. So yeah, actually, I never struggled on that part.
You said when we were speaking on the Zoom call, I asked you, have you forgiven this man? You said, I've forgiven him.
I have.
Yeah. Tell me about your philosophy on forgiveness. It's something that people struggle with a lot. Forgiving people for trauma in their life, the way people have treated them. A man in your position, successful, to then have that humility to forgive and say, you've taken away what I built.
Yeah.
I forgive you though. I'm going to carry on. Tell me about your philosophy on that.
So when you forgive someone, you are actually not doing any favor to him. You're doing a very big favor to yourself. You are taking that pain out of your own system. You're telling your system, let's move on. And you're not wasting any energy by boiling on it, by being bitter on it, or by even in your mind plotting against him for anything. You are using that energy to build of your own, build something new, build more exciting, build bigger. And it took time for me. I wouldn't say that it happened overnight. It took time for me. And I say it with a little bit of smile, and I wish him a very long life. And, he will experience his own life in his own way. And I don't want to say more.
A lot of men really struggle with forgiveness because for them it's almost a sign of weakness. But I think they're trying to protect themselves by not forgiving. But I think it's a true sign of strength when you can truly forgive someone, especially to move forward and release all that stuff. Why do you think men really struggle with being open and sharing? Because you come like I do from a big family. Family's massive. Indian culture is everything. I've been raised to be open and loving, but so many men don't. So if you were to talk to a man who's hurting, who's holding on to stuff for so long and he can't forgive, what would you say to him? Because it's difficult sometimes to communicate with a man who is in the middle of
Holding on.
Yeah. What would be your advice?
I think what most of the men, to be honest, I would say, we have this, we were built like this.
Yeah.
We were built macho, and men don't cry. That's a sign of weakness. I think we need to let that go. If you need to cry, cry. Let it go, because it's a washing emotions off. It makes you feel lighter. Let that macho character go as well, in my opinion. What makes you macho, what makes you bigger is how positively you think, how positive you are about your family, how positive you are about your trade, how positive you are about your life. We sometimes we are willing to give away our life trying to save our pride.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. I think we need to learn that you have to be alive to have that pride.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But pride can come in a lot of ways. Pride can come from love. Pride can come from forgiveness.
Yeah.
Pride can come from family. Pride can come from others' achievement in your people from your family. Your achievements are important, no doubt about it. You are important. But when you start seeing your achievement in your children, in your extended family, that is also matter to be proud of.
Yeah.
And I want to tell people that let go. The bitterness actually grinds us down, to be honest. The the lesser we have that, the better it is. It's not impossible to let the bitterness go.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult to let it go, but it's not impossible to let go. Over a period of time, and you practice it, you become good at it to let it go. Yeah, don't become too careless about it. But yes, have a practice, have a system in your whole persona, in your psychology to wash that down from time to time. It's important.
Yeah. I love that because I think if people knew by releasing what they're holding on to, they're actually making room for new things to come in,
That's what it is.
right? And it's only when you go through really difficult times and you realize, actually, I hated being in that moment. It really hurt me, but look where I am now. And if I hadn't been gone through that, I wouldn't have received this. And one of the things I try to live by is the understanding that whatever is happened, it happened for a reason. Allow it to come, allow it to go, knowing that better things will come. And a lot of people live in such fear that this is as good as my life's going to get. Please don't take it away from me. I don't want the uncertainty of not knowing. Let me hold on to this. But if you operate from a place of trust, I trust. I trust that something better is going to come. Then your whole demeanor changes.
It's true.
And you're able to let go. All right, you can go now. I'm going to wait for the new thing. However long it takes, I'm just going to trust it. We've got no control in this universe, right?
I'll just say one more point on the trust.
Yeah.
The reason it hurted me most when I lost my restaurant with
Yeah.
that man, I trusted him completely.
Mm.
And being betrayed on that was the biggest hurt than anything else.
Yeah.
And that's what was hurting me time and time again. That I trusted him like family, like brother, and he just turned around to stab me when I was already hurting. And that wasn't fair. So I had to displace that trust from him and put that trust back on myself.
Does that change how you trust people moving forward? Or
No, not at all. Not at all, because everyone is different, in my
Right.
opinion.
Mm.
It helped me to evaluate people better now.
How do you evaluate people?
Over a period of time, you get to know them, the character they are, what they do, what they don't do. Being with that person for so long in a business partnership, you tend to ignore. That's his part of life. He does it. Let him do it. Why should I be bothered? Our business is good. And I think sometimes overlooking that is a big problem.
Mm.
Had I looked into all those trouble right in the beginning, probably I wouldn't be in that situation.
Yeah.
Now I evaluate that. It's not scrutinizing every person on the minute detail, but the details that matter to you, to your life, to your happiness,
Yeah.
to your integrity,
Mm.
and to the success of your project.
Mm.
It's important to be able to do that, in my opinion. And it's not wrong. It's
Yeah,
not.
of course, of course. One of the things I've been working on mostly this year is understanding people better, right? And a lot of times we judge people by what they do. People's identity is based on what they do. I do this, this is who I am. But really, the true question is, who are you? Outside of that, who are you? Take everything away. Who are you? And I try to find that in someone now. Like if I'm going to have a business relationship, personal relationship, friendship, romantic relationship, I need to know you without all those labels. That's so hard to do
It's very hard.
because so many people just hold on to that identity. Don't take this away because I'm scared of what I'd find. But in this industry, being an entrepreneur, being a chef, but also being in media, where people's identity is attached to the things that they do.
Hmm.
How do you learn to trust or fully understand people, knowing that a lot of the time you're not seeing the true version of
That's true.
people?
That's true. It's hard, to be honest. So, you come across, especially in the media sector. I do media for a very different reason. It's part of my business plan, but I'm not a complete media person.
Mm.
But the people who work completely in media, I think for them, it's very hard. When the camera switches off, they're very different people.
Yeah.
Very different people. I've seen that. So I'm not going to take any names.
Yeah.
So it's to be able to evaluate that, are they your true friends? They're camera friends. And that chemistry is fantastic. But beyond that, there's nothing. And I've seen that many times.
Yeah.
Many times. It happens a lot. They work as a perfect team in front of the cameras. Off the camera, they don't even want to know each other.
Yeah.
So those things are there. But in real life, you got to deal with that person day in, day out.
Yeah.
And especially for men, I would say this: when you get into business partnership, it's like a marriage.
Yep.
You got to understand the other person really well and get deep into it, in my opinion, because that's where most of the failure comes from, when you don't understand the other partner. And it could be fault in you. I'm not just blaming the other partner. It could be fault in you. You may need to correct yourself. Then maybe he's insecure about something. Like in a perfect marriage situation, if you're not open to your wife or your partner, and the person finds out something about you, gets very restless or reacts very differently. Business is exactly like that, in my opinion. So you got to be really truthful, really open about it. They may not like it, but it's for you and them to understand that how this will work out.
Who is Atul when you take away everything? When you take away your achievements, you strip away the fact that you're a chef on TV. Do you ask yourself that question? Who
I
am I?
do all the time.
What's the answer you get?
I'm still looking for
Hmm.
it. I, strip away everything. Take away chef, take away that media person, take away all the achievements, take away the family. I think it takes me back to be that little boy who grew in Jamshedpur, who knew nothing what will come tomorrow, but still was happy, still going out to the ground playing cricket with those handmade bats and sometimes handmade balls as well, and plucking mangoes from other trees and getting told off. All those things. I mesmerize my childhood. It was very simple, very, very simple, but very beautiful.
Do you think he still lives inside you?
He does.
Yeah. And does he come out often?
Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
I can see that when you talk about going on these walks and spotting little things. That's
me.
childhood fascination. That's true. And I don't think we should lose that. That's a great answer, because I think all of us, when we strip it back, we're that child who lived in wonder and thought anything in life was possible.
Yeah.
We weren't limited by anything. And how many of us are just pushing that? Be quiet. That's what life's like. Really, if we actually said, come on, let's have some of that energy back, how much more happier, we're talking about happiness, but how much more could we achieve in life when we're not limited by what we're told we can do?
True.
And that's a beautiful answer. I wanted to touch on fatherhood, because on our Zoom call, you mentioned your kids, and we're talking about family quite a lot.
Yeah.
Tell me about your children. Tell me about your view on being a father.
When I became father first time, it was kind of excitement and a little bit of worry as well. It comes with the responsibility.
About
Responsibility.
Yeah.
I was a busy chef and buzzing around the world, working different places, and how I'm going to manage that. Child needs care, child needs attention, child needs love, child needs affection. How will I manage that? But God had different plans. And whenever God gives you a child in his own way, they test you out. My daughter was born perfect in time, but she became very ill on a birth. And she was whisked away from us within seconds and put into incubator. And then they said, leave her there, she'll be okay in a couple of hours or a few hours later. It was middle of the night. I was made to go home and leave my wife behind. So I went home. In the middle of the night, again, I got a call that your child is not doing well. Please come to the hospital. And they said, look, she's not doing well. There was something called meconium aspirated baby. So she had taken a lot of womb liquid into her lungs. She was not breathing well. and we are going to transfer her to a special child unit in Hammersmith Hospital. So I went with her, and I saw that little child suffering very badly. They tried to put her in peace, so that by giving medicines and all that, it was very heartbreaking. I was a new father. I didn't know what to cry or to hold my child, or emotions were very different. Uh, and 2 days later, they again told me, within a day, sorry, that she's not doing well. Don't think we can save her. We are trying to get her a space in uh, that hospital, famous hospital,
Oh, great.
Great Ormond Street Hospital. And if she gets a seat, then we'll have some hope. And I prayed like anything. Luckily, we got the seat, and she was taken there. And then I was explained, and till date, I have no recollection what doctor was explaining me that what was happening to my child. All I had in my mind was, get me my child. It was tough.
Mm.
And with God's grace, she's back. She came back. The operation was called ECMO, and they kind of, I think she was a 3 days old. They had to puncture her one jaguar vein here and clean her lungs. So the blood was taken out. She was on artificial lungs and heart while they cleaned her system. It's tough to remember that. But she came back, fighter. What a fighter. She's 22 now.
How did that moment change how you felt about life? You're a busy chef, got all this stuff, but here you realize none of it matters, right?
Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. She mattered.
Mm.
I, you know, I feel guilty sometimes that when she was ill, I didn't even think about my child, as for my wife. I was more worried about her, where my wife was also suffering. And then I brought her home, and then together we were, it was hell, let's put it this way.
Mm.
3 months till she didn't come home, were toughest part of my life.
Mm.
Nothing tested me more than that.
Did that change you as a man, that moment?
Yeah.
In what way?
In a better way. I think I became more human. I also felt what fatherhood could be challenging. It'll be challenging, but also a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
Beautiful feeling.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I've got my daughter's 10. I'm just processing it, thinking if I was in that, it takes great strength. And I can see that's more challenging than running any restaurant, building any businesses, is your child, right?
True.
How has that affected your relationship with her now? Do you,
With her,
do you go back to it, and is there that gratitude that she's there? Or
I think I thank God every day.
Mm.
She's one of the best things that has happened to me.
Mm. I'm glad she was okay. What do you think, in your opinion, makes a good father? Like, we hear so much about young men getting negative influences online, the lack of positive male role models. You had an amazing father, an amazing grandfather. Not everyone's as fortunate to be exposed to such good role models that they can learn off. For you, what makes a good father, and I guess what makes a good man in your opinion?
Uh, I'm not sure whether I'm a good father or not. I think it's a question that you should ask them one day.
Okay.
But what I believe is, I like to have very open conversations with them, and I now as they are kind of proper adults now. My son is 20 and my daughter is 22. I see a lot of things changing in them, like character and the way they behave and all that. They're very good kids. They're very focused. They know what they want, which is great. And I think through all these years, me and my wife Dipti, we both have kept a very open conversations with them about everything,
Mm.
good, bad, ugly, and especially as a father, uh, if my daughter or my son were talking to me in a certain way, which is, attitude thing. How to build them gently without crushing them or without breaking them.
What do you do? That's a really interesting technique. Like, it's a problem we have, right?
I-
What would you do? What?
So I would always stop them. The first thing that goes through my mind is what's going in their mind that they are behaving like this.
Hmm.
That's my biggest worry. So I always say, why don't you calm down? Think through what you're saying, collect your thoughts, and we can have a chat later. And that often cools things down immediately. They go away, they think about it, and they will approach back saying, this is what I had in my mind. What do you think about it? And then we can analyze it together, good, bad, ugly. And that often kind of diffuses the situation, resolves the situation, and also gives them a solution, whether solution for me or solution for them. And I've always found that confrontational can be quite dangerous for them,
Hmm.
and maybe for me as well, in terms of how our relation would develop. Whereas an open relation where you kind of analyze things together makes them a better person. Then they also learn to analyze the situations.
Yeah.
And it's not often that you are on the face of it, you have to get the answer now.
Yeah.
You step away from it,
Hmm.
maybe for a few minutes. When you come back to it, you look at it from a very different angle and say, actually, my thought process was pretty silly. I don't need this.
Yeah. Do you ever think about your son looking at you and your achievements and any pressures that might put on him in terms of what he needs to do in his life? How do you manage that interaction to let him know what you would hope for him?
So I've always been worried about that. So it can put a lot of pressure on children if parents are in that position. I have always kept them out of media attention. I've never brought them. If you see my social posts, very rarely you'll see any of their pictures. I don't think there's any of their pictures anywhere.
Mm.
I mention their names once in a while on Father's Day or something, or teasing them that Father's Day is coming. So think of a good gift for you. But other than that, I don't. So I've kind of built them in such a way that they will have their journey. Your father had your own journey. It doesn't reflect on you in any way.
Mm.
I could have been nothing, to be honest. I could have been just a plain father, but God gave me the opportunity to who I am today, and I took it correctly, and I've done it right out of it. You will get your own opportunities, but it doesn't mean that you got to be in front of the camera, you got to be in front of the media, or you got to go and prove anything to anyone. The only person you need to prove anything is yourself. You carve out your path and work out what you want to be, and just work on the path.
What would you want your children to do? Because people ask me the same question. I was recently at school. My daughter's going to go to secondary school, and the teacher said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I thought it's such an interesting question for us to ask a 10-year-old. What do you want to be? Like, she's got no idea.
Yeah,
We don't know the world she's going to live in 8 years' time.
we don't know.
And all I've ever said to my daughter's called Lara. I just said, just do what makes you happy. That hum you were talking about,
Yes.
just let that sing as loud as it can, whatever it is. I don't care about money. Like, doesn't matter. Just find something that drives you every single day. Is that a similar philosophy that you adopt with your?
So I always say that to them, that please do that. Always don't come under any pressure.
Mm.
Go get the best of the education you can get. See if that's what you want to practice, or that education would be a stepping stone to do something different for you. Because world is such an open space. It's not that you go for engineering degree and you become an engineer and that's what you do. It doesn't mean anything like that. People go for engineering degree and then they become world's fantastic bankers or whatever, CEOs of the companies. So you go do what you want to do, and there is no pressure on you. But just be a good human. That's the most important thing.
Mm.
And I think they both carry those ethos. They are competitive in their own sense.
Mm.
They have their own agendas. They want to achieve things in their own way. They often talk to me about it. One thing they don't want to do is become a chef, which is a good thing.
The next question I was going to ask you is, what do you think they think of you? your
They,
achievements.
I think they love it. They're very proud of it, and they cherish what I have. So I asked Arjun, my son, who's studying finance, degree of finance at the moment. I said, "Your dad has got 7, 8 restaurants. What do you think of them?" He said, "Fantastic. I love it, Dad. Once I become a financial analyst, I'll definitely come to your restaurant and spend money. Don't worry." So, okay, I got some business now.
Yeah, I love that. Do you still get the same buzz now out of thinking, sure, I could open at number 8? What matters to you most at this stage in your life?
At the moment, we are in the middle of opening number 8, and
Okay.
I'm the one who's resisting it. I don't want to do it. My business partner wants to do it. So I'm at a stage where I'm at peace with what I have, and there's no immediate need for me to have more. I'm not thinking about it. And every time I've done open more restaurant because I had surplus team, I wanted to house them somewhere and manage their ambitions as well. Because as I said, they become like a family to me. So I wanted to manage their ambitions. And at the moment, none of that is there. And I've also started thinking, whatever I have, I manage them well, and I have very little spare time.
Mm.
Do I need more?
Mm.
So because I want some me time as well.
Yeah, of course.
If that me time gets taken away, I don't need it.
Yeah.
And as time goes by, I'm not saying I'm retiring. I'm far from it. I'll use the word what my dad used to say. I used to ask him about his retiring. He said, "My body is a very good car.
Mm.
I'm going to drive it till the wheels come off."
I love that. I love that. So tell me about COVID. It was a difficult time for the hospitality industry. How did it affect you in your business?
I thought the COVID literally destroyed everything, to be honest,
Mm.
whatever we had built over the years. But such times are the ones which test you most, and how you come fighting out as human, holding your community together and being there for others is something we were tested on. And what apart from the society I live in, I was hugely worried about people who work for me.
Mm.
A lot of people are, they are single. They live in small cubby holes here and there, and their their mental health was a huge issue for me. So as soon as the lockdown was announced in the month of April, I used to call everybody every day. About 70, 80 calls I had to make, but I made sure that I was connecting with everyone. I made a group and I would talk to them. And if somebody didn't feel right, I would immediately call them to figure out whether they were okay. Uh,
It's a lot of pressure.
Pressure was humongous because I didn't want, and I knew kind of we were listening to it, that what COVID was doing to us,
Mm.
and I didn't want to lose anybody. The fear of losing your own was just troublesome that time. Of course I didn't want to lose myself and my family,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to lose this family as well, which was very, very important to me. And we constantly just talk to each other, and I would create group chats, Zoom calls, just to have a chat.
Yeah.
We're doing nothing. We're sitting home and have a laugh and pull each other's leg and do those things. I just wanted communication going. I wanted them to feel part of the family and have a sense of belongingness.
Mm.
I think when the loss of hope comes, that's where the biggest problem is.
That's really nice to hear, because I think a lot of times people don't understand the value of just being contacted, being known that you are a part of the team, that you are a valued member of it.
Yeah.
And that gives them the hope, because I know that there was money given to people and stuff, but to know that someone's actually thinking about you, the boss is thinking about you, that would keep them going.
Because as I said, a lot of people live on their own. They're single people, or they were young people. They were living away from home. Some of them were on work permit. They had nobody to talk to, and it just becomes quite difficult when you don't have human interaction. We are not designed to be on our own. So
I hear so much kindness for what you said throughout this podcast, caring about people, talking to them. You want them to feel happy. Why do you care so much? So many people don't. So many people are just obsessed with, I've got this empire, I want to take care of me and my family, I want to go on holidays. Why do you care? Where does it all stem from?
I can blame my parents. It was, we had very little growing up, but there was enough. And if anybody joined in unexpectedly, as it happens in Indian families,
Mm.
there was for them as well.
Mm.
So I grew up with those ethos. So whatever I have, it's good. I'm grateful, but I have whatever little I have, I'm happy to share as well.
Yeah.
I've always grown up with that ethos. But the biggest thing is the feeling, the human feeling comes from there,
Mm.
and I'm not going to let that go till I'm alive.
Yeah. When you think about legacy and you think about your achievements, what you've done, how would you want to be remembered? Would it be by the dishes that you've made, the people that you fed, or the lives that you've touched? How do you want people to think of Atul?
Um, I, I I have actually asked this question to myself, and the way I describe it to myself is I would like to be remembered as a good human and a great chef.
Mm. I love that. What's something that you think we should have touched on during this conversation that we haven't? Is there something that you feel that you've always wanted to say? Something that you believed in that you thought is not discussed enough?
I think you have dug in everywhere in my life. Nothing left.
No, I just, I was just fascinated to, to understand the people behind the achievements. I think in life, we're given platforms to shout out about what we do. We can do it ourselves on social media. Look how great I am. Look how great I am. But to have those moments of true vulnerability, to say, to have done that, I had to go through this.
Yeah.
Very few people talk about that. It takes great courage to share those moments.
Look, my mom always used to say that you will uh, you will enjoy the success if you had tasted the failure.
Mm.
And I didn't give much thought to those words till I had the massive failure.
Mm.
And after that, every little success feels so good, so good. Though I've never measured life in failures and successes, but I do believe that a downfall is not the end of all.
Mm.
It's just the beginning. And it depends entirely on you how you gather yourself and start doing it again or build a new you, in my
Mm.
opinion. And I often talk to everybody in my team about this, that I'm not a preacher, but a failure doesn't define you. Failure is just telling you, you just need to take a new route here.
Mm.
And I think that's how we should deal with life.
If your dad and grandfather could see what you've achieved now, your granddad having been a baker, having fed so many people, your dad,
What they would tell me,
what they would tell you. What do you think they would think of what you've done?
I'll bring my mom in as well.
I-
So my dad will tell me, well done, son. Very proud of you. My granddad will say, I'm disappointed that you're not a baker. And mom will say, you still can't cook the dal I did. So
I think it's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful way to wrap up this conversation.
thank you.
I learned a lot from you, and I've loved uncovering this version of you that I don't think many people would have maybe been exposed to.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's inspiring. It's it's positive, and like you said, there's hope. There's hope and happiness. That's what I feel most coming from this: hope, happiness. Live life to the full. Things are going to come your way. Let them come. They will pass.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.